Alright, what's up guys, it's Fick, and I have been reading your questions on my encore video, and this video is going to be me answering some of those questions. Most of them pertain to me living in the US and differences and stuff, but we'll get into that in a minute. This gameplay is on Turbine, in Ground War, two of the things I hate most about Black Ops 2. Ground War is terrible, and Turbine is horrible, although apparently more bearable if you're playing it in Ground War. Maybe that's just my opinion, but it seems to make more sense as a map with 18 people on it versus 12. So I'm going to leave the score and how I do as a surprise, because apparently you guys really like to be shocked by me doing alright. So yeah, getting to some of the questions. Someone had suggested I talk about the sport, or not the sports and the news in videos, as that's a constantly changing topic, and in all honesty I don't want to do it. I read the news, but I don't really keep up to it. I don't really read many stories in depth, and I don't like to talk about something that I'm not very well versed in, but something that I don't at least have half a clue what's going on. So I'm not going to be doing any news things really. I might occasionally mention something in the news or whatever, but I'm not going to be doing a here's the roundup of the news type of thing. So let's move on to the actual questions, which were, a lot of them were about me and moving to the US and that kind of thing, as I'm sure I already said at the start of the video, so I'm repeating myself right now. Forget it. The first question was, how did I meet my wife and why did I move to the US? I met my wife about 10 years ago in an MSN chat room, and this was before dating sites and stuff. This was about the time that To Catch a Predator was kind of popular. Maybe a little bit before that, but you know, everyone thought that if you met someone online, they were either a terrorist or a pedophile or Chris Hansen, that you would turn up and it would be some old guy and whatever. So I met her in the chat room. I think what I started talking to her for was because her username was different. Most of the usernames in those days were like Cutie Baby, Callie Hot Chick, you know, that kind of dumb stuff, and hers wasn't. I don't remember exactly what it was, but hers wasn't like that. So I just started talking to her. I didn't even realize she was a female at the time. I just liked to chat to people. I don't know why. I'd never had a computer growing up, and I got my first computer 2 days before I met her, which is kind of crazy to me that 2 days after I got it, I think I used to work nights, so I would, on my nights off, obviously stay up all night, so I stayed in the sleep pattern kind of thing, and I just started talking to her and enjoyed her company. So that's basically how I met her. I don't really remember too much other than that, but I do remember a lot of people being like, she could be a dude. So hopefully people have grown out of that kind of thing. I know there are still people that do that kind of dumb shit online, but I think people are a little easier to read now. And the reason I moved to the US was because of her. I came here on what's called a K1 fiancé visa, which is a visa that allows you to enter the country, and then I think it's 90 days you have to get married upon entering, and then after you're married you can send off and get a green card and stuff. So yeah, that's why I came here. It's not like I hated England and I wanted to move or anything like that. In fact, I quite liked England. Quite enjoyed living there. Which leads me on to the next question, which was, or is, what is the best and worst thing about the US? From an English perspective, I mean, from just a purely personal perspective, where I moved to has a very low, very high unemployment rate. So it's kind of tough finding a job right now. And the best thing is definitely grilling. I find it hard to explain to people, but where I'm from in the southwest of England, it literally rains all year, and you maybe get 3 weeks of sunshine a year, so grilling is a very rare thing to do there, and it's something that I can do a lot here, and I enjoy it quite a lot. I grill probably 2 or 3 days a week, even if it's just something dumb like burgers. It's just something that I quite enjoy. So moving on to the next question. This sounds like a terrible, terrible interview. How did I adapt to life in America? And the person thought it would be extremely different to Exeter, where I'm from. It's not, really. In all honesty, the biggest differences between the US and the UK, and I don't want to offend any Brits here, because I am one of you, although I don't sound like it anymore. Brits are fucking miserable. I went back to the UK in July, August last year, and I've just gotten so used to when you walk into a store, people saying, "Hi, how are you doing?" You know, being nice and welcoming, that I went into a Poundland, which to any Americans or other countries is like a dollar store, and I think I did not interact with one person working there. They purely grunted at me, and I mean literally grunted. I gave them the items, and then they pointed at the total and kind of went, that's something I'm not used to. I guess I didn't pay much attention to it when I lived there, but yeah, people are miserable. People in the US are a lot happier, or they're a lot better at putting on a facade of being happy, I should say. A lot of them are still miserable as shit, but they'll at least smile and stuff when you enter a store. But that's like the biggest difference, even when my family came here, in noticing like how much people are willing to help you. But also, I guess, not from a person view, I do miss England and its greenery. If you've never been to England, it's a very green country. Like, you can drive around the country and there'll just be green fields. And I know Illinois is like, basically, you're just gonna see cornfields when you drive everywhere, which is a little depressing just to see yellow. But I guess scenery, England, is a pretty good place to live. Something you don't really take advantage of when you live there, because you're so used to it. But when you've been somewhere else and then come back, it's definitely something that you notice. I can't really think of any cultural differences that much. I mean, everything that's in England is here. It's not. I used to think that there wasn't much of a difference, besides the things I mentioned. But yeah, I guess that's it on America. And someone asked my most embarrassing story, and I can't think of an individual one. I'm someone that doesn't really get embarrassed easily, but I get embarrassed by, and this is going to sound very stupid, I get embarrassed by being impolite. The other week I went to a grocery store, and the woman in front of me at the checkout was putting her items on, but she started doing it way back, when she had the whole of the conveyor belt to put them on. So I just assumed that she was finishing putting them up. So when she moved down, I started piling all my crap on, and then looked, and she still had like a whole cart of stuff to put on. So I kind of felt like a dick for that, and that's embarrassing to me, but I don't really get embarrassed by, like if my ass crack shows in a store or anything. You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, this was a very rambly and very incoherent commentary, but hopefully I answered some of your questions. If there's anything else you want to know, just leave a comment, and I will try and answer them as long as they're not too creepy. Alright, thanks for watching. See ya.